Hello everyone, Super Reaction Bros here again. Today we have a countdown, top 10 countdown from GamerANX called 10 easiest boss fights we've ever played. Now, I can't really think of an easy boss fight, really. I mean, there have been easy ones, but not to my recollection. It's been so long.
It's been a long time. I mean, I've only known a few, but it stuck with me because it was like, really, that's it. One of them, of course, was GLaDOS from the first Portal game.
Oh, that's an easy boss.
That was one of the easiest ones. And to me, another easy one, which was like, again, that's it, from Kingdom Hearts 2, the Axel fight. Because it was like, really? It went by, to me, it went by really quickly. It was like...
That was more of an opening fight, really.
Well, still, it's not. I mean, still, it's overall just boss fight. I mean, it doesn't have to be the final boss, but
the Fable 2 final boss.
Oh yeah, that one.
Which is like it puts a real a turd stain on an otherwise great game.
Yeah.
You know, all you use go up and shoot the guy in the head.
And that's it.
But if you manage to not shoot him in the head, somebody else will shoot him in the head for you.
Yeah, either which way, the guy's gonna get shot in the head.
Those are a few we can think of off the top of our heads. There's probably others.
Yeah.
So let's check this out.
Let's see here. Let's see what they have for the 10 easiest boss fights overall. So let's see.
Boss fights. Some are really hard and some are really, really easy. And today GameRanx wants to talk to you about the 10 easiest boss fights that we have played. Big ass spoiler warning. There are spoilers in this video. I don't know why I said it like that. Number 10, General Grievous in Star Wars Battlefront 2. General Grievous was sold as a character that was outright scary. It's a cyborg with several lightsabers that he had actually taken from the dead bodies of Jedis he'd killed. And it did the trick in the movie. He was probably one of the coolest parts, or maybe one of the only cool parts depending on what you think of the movie. However, in Star Wars Battlefront 2, you could kill General Grievous as he spawned if you were so inclined. But even so, he wasn't that hard when you were actually fighting against him. His main move was actually just blocking, which as we all know isn't exactly a devastating special or a spectacle-oriented fatality. Number 9, Halo 4's D-Adept. So I don't know if you've ever had a last boss fight where every single other moment in the game is an actual fight, and then the boss, the final boss, the thing the whole game's been building to, is a quick time event? If you have never encountered that, then you've never beat Halo 4. Because that's how you beat Halo 4, by pressing the buttons at the right time. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with quick time events. In fact, some of my favorite games are based on them. And that goes all the way back to Shenmue on the Dreamcast, which basically popularized the modern form of the quick time event, and is still a fantastic game. But this is the end of a first-person shooter. Are you joking? Number 8. When Wrath of the Lich King was originally released, the boss battle against the Lich King himself, Arthas, was far too difficult for most players to beat. But because Blizzard wanted everyone to experience the boss fight and win, they added a buff which was called Hellscrim's War Song for Horde players and Strength of Rin for Alliance players that increased the power by 5% each week 1 month after the expansion was released. Now this buff only worked within the Icecrown Citadel where this boss fight took place, you know, to prevent people from having ultimate power everywhere, and it capped at 30%. It not only increased total health, but also healing and damage done for all the players in the raid. The buff made the boss fight and the rest of the raid actually very easy, and players who wanted an additional challenge could speak to an NPC and disable the buff, but there was very little point in doing that, as the boss fight was now just really easy to beat. Number 7 is from Final Fantasy VII. Yep, we did it. The numbers lined up. Okay, so the very final boss, Sephiroth, is super easy. Now keep in mind, Sephiroth has already taken the form of the one-winged angel and you fought him that way. But you get through and you're kind of like, okay, is this over? And then he's there again. And you're like, oh, more? Come on. How many times do I have to kill you? Well, the Omni-Slash attack was designed to be the ultimate Sephiroth stopping attack. You could really beat him with a simple slash. Or you could even just not attack him at all. When he attacks you, sure, he'll deplete most of your HP, even if you're at the highest possible level, but you'll counterattack and that will kill him. There does not have to be any input whatsoever. You beat this Sephiroth boss. Period. In fact, the only way you cannot beat it is by pressing the power button on your console. Number 6, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. The first boss in the game looks pretty frightening, I have to say. It's a creatively scary looking boss that makes you feel like you're actually going to have to deal with something here. You're not, though. Simply attacking Goma with your slingshot and then going mad with your sword ends her, like, instantly. If that's what you do when you act fast enough, Goma doesn't even get a chance to attack by laying eggs, which create smaller Gomas that attack you. That's her only defense. It's hard to believe they needed a chosen hero to get through this. Number 5, Rock in Pokemon Red and Blue. Brock has a rock-type Pokemon, so if you picked either Bulbasaur or Squirtle, you will have no trouble. Basically, if you've spent any time whatsoever leveling up one of those two, you have attacks that will take out Brock's Pokemon in about 2 or 3 turns. I prefer to kind of lull Brock into a sense of security and then whip out those attacks at the last minute when he thinks he's gonna win. And then I go, I showed you, Game Boy Machine. And then I look around in my dark room and I say, why am I so lonely? Number 4, Race in Dying Light. Yeah, so remember how Halo 4's ending is just a QTE? So is Dying Light's. Although I will say it is a little bit better than Halo's. On account, Halo's is pretty uneventful. I mean, at least Dying Light's is entertaining on some level, but really the last fight being a QTE in any action game, or any game that isn't primarily QTEs up until that point in some way, is ridiculous. At best. Like, would you ask for this? Ever? I wouldn't. Nobody ever goes, listen up, if the next Call of Duty game doesn't end with a QTE battle, if Dead Space's last boss is not a QTE, I'm not in. Come on, Bowser wasn't even a QTE. I feel so unfulfilled. No one has ever said any of those things. Don't do this in this kind of a game. Number 3, in Borderlands 2 Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt DLC, Professor Nakayama has quite the build-up. He's seen just outside his laboratory, psyching himself up, getting ready for the fight of his life. And then, just as you're about to duel it out, he falls down the friggin' stairs. He breaks his neck, and as what happens when you break your neck, he dies then. I honestly don't have much else to say about this. He just falls down the stairs and dies. It's hilarious. But Borderlands is hilarious. It's the type of thing you can expect from them. And I love a good fake out. Really? Number 2, Lucien Fairfax in Fable 2. Basically, Lucien was a dick. I mean, he doesn't really start off as a huge dick. His wife dies, and then he goes into a depression. But that's not an excuse to become a huge dick. And by that, I mean tyrannical, genocidal ruler. Anyway, fast forward till when you actually have to fight Lucien. You've just beaten a series of difficult bosses, and he powers up. And then he begins talking. The best villains can't resist a monologue. In fact, heroes seem to be pretty good at monologuing as well. People just like to talk. Let's just say that. Talk is cheap, especially when you're about to fight. So you grow impatient and shoot him in the middle of the speech. And if you don't, your party members will, and he just dies. Normally I would be like, what a tease. This was such an ungratifying end of the game. But Lucien's a dick, and I don't like listening to him talk. So when he's like, blah, 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 and you just bam, dead, you don't even give him the opportunity to be a tough fight. You're just like, alright, you're talking. I don't want to hear it. How about I put a bullet in your brain? That's how you beat a villain. I walked away from that smiling. And number 1 is Colonel Autumn in Fallout 3. Alright, you've just taken on Liberty Prime, who has really hyped you up, making you think, oh shit, the next thing is going to be a big deal. And out comes Colonel Autumn, named for the cool way of saying the season between summer and winter. Colonel Autumn sounds like a real badass. And then you realize people named after seasons can't be badasses. And you just switch into VATS mode and kill them. And that's it. There's not anything more to it. It's easy. You turn on VATS mode and you kill them. So anyway, out of these, which did you play? Do you remember how easy these were? Do you remember other ones that were equally as...
Okay, the list was overall not bad.
Not bad.
But my main concern was a couple in the middle. Like Brock and like Goma have the same problem I have with this, with a couple of things on this list. Yes, the name of the list is 10 easiest boss fights you've ever played. But Brock and Goma are technically the first bosses of the game.
They should at least, that's the one thing they need to do for any type of top 10 boss fights you guys do for easiest ones, especially easy. Just please exclude the first boss, because usually it's like you said, it's supposed to be the most easiest one because it's warming you up into the game.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
even okay, but then like you get to the final boss segment, like the Sephiroth one. That's after a gigantic climactic boss fight.
Yeah, and then
That
this.
is just Cloud finishing the guy off after what you already did. You and your party already did to guy. If you manage to level cap all your characters, which a lot of Final Fantasy VII players do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was just
that was more of a cutscene.
giving you the satisfaction of finally ending this motherfucker.
That's all
it was. And they're complaining that you didn't really, you don't really have to do anything. I'm like, really?
This is ridiculous.
I mean, the rest I agreed with. The Fable one, I was right.
The Halo 4 one, holy cow! It's just a quick time event. You know, it's like
the Fable 2 one, I agree with.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the Fallout 3 one. Lich King, damn. I mean, really, they had to add a buff just to get so that way players can actually beat the Lich King.
It's
they made them easier.
They made it. That's all they did. They just made them easier. It's like this big thing. It's like, oh, we're gonna make it easier for everybody. There we go.
Like, one of them I can agree with was the Borderlands 2 one. But and that's really because, like he said, yeah, it should be on this list, but then again, it's Borderlands 2. It's a part of a series where Borderlands is known for its humor.
It's humor, and it is pretty ridiculous. Where you're like, and you see his health bar too, and you're like, that's it. He's dead because he killed himself.
I can see why number 1 was Fallout 3 though, considering that apparently it's supposed to be this big ass hulking like armored dude, and then all you gotta do is activate the VAT system, and then he can wipe him out.
And that's it.
And
I understand that part.
Fable. I honestly I thought Fable 2 should have been number 1 because that's still.
I thought I was really thinking at least was a Portal would be in there, but I guess they didn't want to consider that like a boss battle. I guess
Fable 3, was
Portal.
Yeah, it could kind of be considered a boss fight. You know what probably was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those easiest boss fights we've ever played, but wasn't as bad as the top 10.
Yeah,
it was one of those probably. If they had honorable mentions, it was probably one of those things.
Yeah, it's probably one of those for honorable mentions. But the list, I could say half of it was right, half of it was like. Oh no,
most of it was right. A few of them I had to disagree with, mainly because, like I said, they were just the first boss of the game.
At least like 80% of it was right, pretty much.
Or B, it was just a scripted ending.
Yeah, that's all it was. Some of them, they don't realize that some of them, like we just mentioned, was a Final Fantasy. It is a scripted ending. A lot of it's scripted, and it's just you're watching it, even though you're not really playing it. Especially the Final Fantasy part, you don't see any controls. It's all pretty much watching it. That's it.
Yeah, Fable. I think Fable 3 improved on the final boss fight, but it was better. But it was still an easy boss fight. By that point, your character's already OP. So
yeah, it's wherever it was at that point. But I mean, like I said, 80% of this list I agreed with. For the most, you know, I mean,
for the most part, yeah. I mean, but other than that, it was.
But everybody has their own top 10, easiest, and it's just. I mean, it's what everybody experienced, to them what they think is easiest. That's why it says they've ever played. So I mean, these are the ones that they've played themselves.
I mean, one I forgot to mention for this one game that doesn't have a good doesn't have any difficult boss fights is Tomba.
That's true.
Tomba, for those who know, Tomba is a popular platformer from the PlayStation 1 era. Came from the same guy who did Ghouls and Goblins, or was it Ghosts and Goblins? One of those two. And while it's a difficult platformer overall, the biggest problem lies in its boss fights. Where all you gotta do is jump on them, jump on him, and then time your jump to a moving bag, and that's it.
It's like you're just capturing them. That's it.
And a boss fight. I mean,
that's it. That's all you're doing.
I mean, yeah, someone probably hit hard, but that's it. That was the other easiest boss fights I can remember. Yeah. Was from the first Tomba game. I haven't played the second one just yet.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, everybody has their own type of easiest boss fights. Everybody's gonna have their own top 10s. There's plenty of videos out there where everyone's got their own top 10 videos for top 10 easy boss fights.
Yeah, definitely.
We all have our own favorite, non-favorites. I mean, But like I said, to this one, like we said, is 80% of it, or pretty much out of them all, maybe a couple were just this way off, or they're like it made no sense why they had to be on here in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. But other than that, if you're new to the channel, you can like, comment, share, subscribe.
Let's see our last video that we did. Yeah, just click right there and check it out and see what we're up to.
Do you have your own personal favorite, well, not personal favorite, but do you have your own memories of an easy boss fight you play as a kid?
Where you worked your butt off so much, and all of a sudden you're like,
you get to this one boss. It doesn't have to be the final boss, but I don't think it should be the first boss either.
Yeah, but it should not be at the first boss whatsoever. But just that one boss, you're thinking, okay, this is gonna be a good fight. Whether it be the final or even halfway through, or some point,
it was just extremely
and you're just like,
underwhelming.
wait, that's it? It's like that's it.
But yeah, so let us know.
Yeah, just comment below and let us know.
But for now, I'm Fox.
I'm Bruce.
That's been their SRB.
See ya.
Later.